Hey, my name is Dan, you're watching Xarbin. Welcome to my first YouTube video. First, I want to quickly mention that at the end of the video, I will be talking about what kind of content you should expect to see here, so if you're interested, stick around till the end. Before we get started with my first ride, I want to say that technically this wasn't my first ride. I've rode around the neighborhoods before to get some practice, but I haven't experienced the traffic and actual road conditions. Therefore, in principle, this is my first ride. Also, I filmed this about a year ago. It's been quite a while. I put this project aside and have recently decided to pick it up again. I sold the bike around a month ago at this time. The person that is riding in front of me is one of my friends named Phil. I just felt more comfortable riding with him. He also has a YouTube channel. I'll link it down in the description. If you're into cars, you can go check him out. Most of the video is going to be a voiceover because at the time I was borrowing a friend's helmet. I was waiting for mine to come in and I didn't have time to put a mic in it. His helmet also had a lot of grooves, so I had to do a side mount for the GoPro. That's why the camera angle is a bit whack. Now that we have all of that out of the way, I can start to talk about the motorcycle and my experience. The motorcycle that I bought was a 2011 Honda Shadow 750 Phantom. I bought it off of Facebook Marketplace. Here I made my first mistake. I know that some of you are going to think that this is obvious and I shouldn't have bought it, but the bike had a lien on it. For those of you who don't know, when there is a lien on the title, that means that the owner still owes money on that bike. If he transfers the title to you, you won't be able to register it until the debt has been paid. So yeah, it really sucks. The guy I bought it from was actually surprised himself that it had a lien on it because he thought he already paid it off. He tried to call the dealer and said he's 90% sure he did, just didn't get a new title. My stupid self thought that it's fine and I'll ride it soon enough. I also fell in love with the bike. Anyway, it took me 3 months to register it. Yep, that long. The stupid thing is, I knew about liens. I knew not to get titles with it on there, but I still made a decision knowing what I'm getting myself into. I've purchased it for $3,000. It had scratches and a dent on the tank. It had around 5,000 miles or so. Let me know in the comments if it is worth it. I thought it was, and Phil in the video also said it's worth it. Let's talk about safety before we venture on the road and talk about my motorcycle. I know, some of you will either skip or ignore this part, but do yourself a little favor and watch, you might learn something. Before I purchased the motorcycle, I did a lot of research on bike safety and road safety. I'll link some of my favorite videos down below. Shout out to YammieNoob and DanDanTheFireman for providing me with some of the best commentary, tips, and their experience. First, the obvious. Always wear a helmet. Please, please, please wear a helmet. You don't look cool without it. I honestly say the truth here. When I see a rider without a helmet, I automatically look down upon him or her. Another equipment you should get is boots with ankle protection. If you're riding a heavy bike and it falls on you, you better pray it won't utterly destroy your leg. You can also get good gloves. When you fall, usually the first thing that hits the ground is your arms, naturally. So make sure your palms and joints are protected. Right here, I'm about to stall, and if I remember correctly, I think I was in second gear. That's actually why I stalled, so. Anyway, a vest is another obvious one. Yeah, it does get really hot and uncomfortable, but would you rather have sweat or blood on you? Road rash can cause nerve damage, you know. Do not cheap out on the gear, especially the helmet, and get a full face protection helmet. When your face is flying towards the ground, usually the chin is hit first, so none of that half helmet BS. One thing that might not be obvious is ear protection. You might develop hearing loss, and not to the exhaust, to the wind. When you're riding, wind noise constantly hits your ears. On top of that, you do have the exhaust and other noises. Most of the time, you won't get ear damage from extremely loud noises, but you will get ear damage from constant, just loud enough sounds. Therefore, wear ear protection. Some of you might be wondering, if hearing on the road is important, and to that I say not really. It is extremely rare for you to actually use your hearing on the road. You'll be fine for most of the time, even if you have music and ear protection. Now we're going to talk about my experience on the road and what I noticed. You might be wondering if you're going to stall on your first ride. Probably yes. I'm actually about to stall right here, and there it is. And as you can see, I quickly check behind me for cars, but honestly, you shouldn't care. Just remember that the most important thing is just turn your backpack on, stay calm, and keep going. My first tip is to ride with a friend. If you're afraid to go on the road by yourself like I was, then riding with a friend may help you get a boost of confidence.
But Dan, I don't have any friends. My friends don't ride bikes.
Then I would suggest riding around the neighborhood and getting into heavier traffic roads slowly.
Good job!
Another thing that you should get done pretty quick, and it might be the most important thing, is to learn how to lean and steer properly. You can see in the video that I took very wide turns. As a beginner, controlling the bike is something that is crucial to your riding journey. Here are some tips for you. Tip number 1. If you are slowly turning, lean your bike but keep your upper body straight like a pole. If you're going fast, lean with your bike. Tip number 2. Go to a parking lot and practice with your leans and turns. Those are the best 2 tips that I can give you. I've also learned some things about the road. While out riding, I noticed that I'm way more attentive to the traffic, intersections, turns, cars, and people. In a car, you get this cocoon around you. You grow comfortable with it. In a car, it's as if you're riding in a house or something. A motorcycle feels way more open and a bit vulnerable. Paying attention to other drivers and road conditions just comes naturally. I feel like even if you want to learn how to drive better, you should ride a bike because it shows you how stupid other people can drive sometimes. A tip that I can give here is pretend that you're invisible on the road. Yes, I mean that. Imagine that no one sees you. It really pushes you to strive to control your vehicle better, read road conditions, and see the upcoming mistakes some idiot is about to make. It's kinda like expect the unexpected. If you're invisible, a car won't see you coming, so it's just gonna try to turn into your lane. Now that I think about it, I should also mention to always try to stay as calm as possible. Remember, you will probably stall your first couple trips. Who cares? You stalled and there's a car honking at you because you're in the middle of an intersection? Who cares? Don't be bothered. You might feel embarrassed, but it's worth it compared to the feeling you're getting of riding a motorcycle. You shouldn't even be embarrassed, you're learning. In addition, go learn about progressive braking on DanDanTheFireman's channel. Now that I mentioned braking, should you worry about engine braking or downshifting? I remember wondering about this as a beginner. Concept can be a little tricky, but honestly, don't worry about it yet. The only difference between engine braking and using your brakes is that engine braking puts more stress on your engine, and using only brakes puts more wear on your brakes. Just use your front and back brakes. Oh, actually, that's another thing. Always use both of the brakes, never one at a time. Another interesting topic that Phil and I discussed is your location. I live in Erie, Pennsylvania. There's a huge motorcycle wave here. People are very used to it. Sometimes I notice more motorcycles on the road than cars. It really helps to know that drivers pay attention more than other cities. I personally would never ride a motorcycle in, let's say, Pittsburgh. People drive like retards down there. Speaking of retards, you just saw me stall, and you're about to see me stall again twice in a row. See, sometimes this crap happens, and honestly, just like I said before, stay calm, turn your bike on, and keep going. Phil also goes down to South Carolina a lot, and he also said that riding a motorcycle there would be scary. No one gives a crap about you there. They don't care what you drive or ride. For that reason, keep your location in mind. On to some of the juicy questions. Did I ever drop the bike? And did I ever crash? Was I close to crashing? The answer is no to all of those. But wait, hold on a minute. Just because it didn't happen to me doesn't mean it can't happen to you. Like I said before, there's a huge motorcycle community in Erie. I think it helped out a lot. 2. I did research on how to stay safe. 3. I'm pretty tall and a bit stronger than average. Dropping a heavier bike can happen to anyone, even me. But for some people, a cruiser can be pretty heavy, which leads to my next topic. Would I recommend my motorcycle for beginners? As mentioned before, I got a cruiser. The reason I wanted a cruiser is because I wanted something comfortable and chill to ride. Something relaxing to do after work. I didn't want to go fast or anything. What kind of motorcycle do you want? A sports bike, a cruiser, a hybrid of the two, a dual sport? I didn't want anything new either because I was afraid I might drop it. My Honda Shadow was a bit heavy, hence I wouldn't necessarily recommend it to female riders, even though one of my female friends rode it around the parking lot. But yes, I do recommend it for any beginner. It only had 750 cc's, so it was plenty powerful. It was comfortable, and it looked pretty badass in my opinion. Time for a lightning round. Will you get girls? No, you will get guys. Will people tell you about how they knew someone who crashed? Yes, all the damn time. Frankly, it's quite annoying. Be prepared. Will your parents be extremely disappointed in you? High chance. Will you want to ride all the time? No, sometimes you would want a break. Is it worth it? Is it fun? Yes, I sold my bike recently and I'm missing it badly. I plan on getting a sports bike though. Does it get cold riding? Yes, sometimes it gets really cold. Now and then you look outside, see a hot burning sun and think, oh, it's probably going to be really hot riding out today. But you'll be surprised that even with a vest, you'll be cold. Is it scary to lean? At first, it can be a little scary, but you'll get used to it. Alright, so I think that is all that I wanted to say. I honestly have a little bit more footage left, so like I said, I'll probably just tell you guys what I plan to do with the channel. I have some ideas on where I want to take my videos, but I'm sure over time things might change. I mainly want to focus on two things: my hobbies and activities and self-improvement. You're wondering if it'll be worth it to watch because obviously you might not be interested in any of these, but I think you will. Each video is going to be unique because you'll be watching something that you have no idea about. You might even want to try it. And besides the activity itself, I plan to bring distinctive editing personality to all my videos. I would like to make this channel about self-improvement too. I recently began on a journey to become successful, and I think it would be cool to see myself progress and inspire others to take up the challenge with me. I threw some ideas around and I don't actually know how many videos I want to post, but I can say that I'll be posting at least one weekly as of right now. I'm thinking of doing one hobby and one self-improvement video later, but that might be too much for me right now, so we'll see. There might be a video coming up about where I want to take this channel so I can get some feedback from you guys, but honestly I'll see. That's all I wanted to say. This video did take up some time. It was quite a bit of work. I'm surprised honestly like how much stuff I had to do, from writing the script to gathering footage to editing it and all that stuff. I can see why a lot of YouTubers quit, you know, after first weeks or even like months, because doing this consistently is definitely going to be a challenge. But if you stayed this long, I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a nice day.